What's up, guys? Welcome back to Paper Planes. My name is Paolo, and it's just Paolo today. And this is flight number 7 of Paper Planes. Like and subscribe, rate 5 stars. New Discord, follow our socials. Yeah, it's just me today. So Christian and Soyo are not able to make it to this episode. They're currently one of them's in Florida, one of them's in another country, and so it's just me. There was some miscommunication about the scheduling, and so yeah, I'm just looking at a screen. God damn, I'm oily. I'm just looking at a screen right now of just me, and so this is just gonna be an hour of me talking. I do have some things planned. I have like a couple things that I could recap back from 2023 that I can some wisdom I can give you guys. But I think next week we should have Soyo back. It'll be a Soyo reunion. I can finally add him back to the hosted by Paolo, Christian, and Soyo, and so we'll have him back. Hopefully, another guest as well. And Christian should be back. He's right now he's with his fishy, and Soyo is hopefully he found a fishy out there. I hope he's doing all right. Um, but yeah, it's just me today. Fun fact: I've actually only missed one episode of the podcast, and it was from season 1, and it was because I showed up to film and I had everything set up, but someone close to me decided to do shrooms, and then they turned off their location, and then I had to go find them. And I just after I set up the camera, I'm like, "Yo, I gotta go. I got someone to find," and they're like, because they because they don't know how to set up they don't really know how to do the production side of things. To be honest, the workflow is kind of like I set up most of the equipment, and then we film, and then John helps on you know organize the wires, and then yeah, I edit it, and then I put all the shit away. I gotta get them to do more shit. But yeah, today is just me. I have a couple reactions that I want to get into. I'm probably just gonna find some random video by cut. Let's unfuck up this table. So, sorry if you guys are sick of my voice already. I know I am. It's been almost 2 years of me talking. So I get it if you guys are like, oh, what the fuck? Just Paulo? Ew. So I tried. I'm trust me. I tried getting people on, but it's really busy right now because it's winter and everyone's going back to school. So I don't know if I want to do the reaction first or if I want to give these tidbits of knowledge first. So let's go. We'll do 5 lessons that I learned in 2023, and then 5 things I learned through dating apps. We'll go with the 5 lessons from 2023. So the first one is more of like a framing for empathizing with people that are hard to empathize with. I had to use this for like after discovering a lot of shit about my family and things that I would have liked to not know but can't unknow. It's the framework of if you lived their life, you'd probably be just like them. And by that I mean when it comes to trying to understand and empathize with people, sometimes it's hard to do that from your perspective because you wouldn't make the same decisions that they would make if you were you. But you're not you're not them, if that makes sense. By that I mean like if you lived through a person's circumstances, you were born with their genetics, their potential, their environment in life. If you grew up with all those factors, you'd probably make the same decisions and mistakes that they would make. Like sometimes I really don't understand when my family makes a certain decision and why they prioritize certain things over other things. And I kind of came down to the conclusion that they just grew up differently. And if I like literally lived their life, saw things through their eyes, did the things that they had to do to survive, then I would probably just be exactly like them. And so that's the first lesson that I kind of learned, and like a framework that I try to use when I'm trying to empathize with people in life. Like maybe you're in like fucking traffic or something, and you see someone like road raging over the smallest thing, but you're like, wow, that person's really like, short tempered and they don't know how to handle their emotions. Maybe they hit the tipping point that day. Maybe like at home they don't get respect or like privacy, and like at work they're getting fucked over, and like their car, like one of their tires got blown out, so they have to like pay it out of pocket, and it's like not covered by their warranty. And so it's just like a shitty week for them. And then they're just like, they're trying to keep it together. Someone cuts into their lane and they're just like, fuck. And then they just, let the racial slurs fly. Um, yeah. So yeah, that's a framework I use to like empathize with people. Damn. I fucking talk a lot. Ever since we've gotten more guests on, I've had to learn how to like not comment on like every little thing, because I have to switch cameras and it gets fucking annoying if I have to switch to my camera just to say like one little thing. So I've gotten better at like just shutting up and letting people talk. That's like one little thing that I've learned from having guests on the podcast. Oh shoot. One of the guests that I tried getting on were some old childhood friends that we grew up with in the Arizona Filipino community. Shout out if y'all motherfuckers are watching. I asked if they watch, and they're like, we've watched it like too. And I'm like, damn. I also told them to comment on last episode when they didn't. But I tried getting them on. I saw him at a party that we had at my house. If you guys remember, like the last episode or the last two episodes prior, there was like a red backdrop back there, and I was doing a bunch of shit. I was doing photo booth. I was DJing. I was taking videos. I was hosting. It was like that whole night was a fucking blur because I was just running around doing everything. Everyone was calling my name. It was the most like needed I've felt. And then there's this really funny part where I had a performance too during the party, and I sang a song for my mom, and I was also cracking jokes as the MC and all that. And I remember a lot of the adults were like, wow, I didn't know you were like, not a loser. And I'm like, that's cool. They're like, you were so like shy and no one really wanted to talk to you, and you were just awkward. I'm like, oh, you could have left the last two parts out and you could have just said the first part, but I'll take it. And so that was a really backhanded way to say like, oh, you've come out of your shell a little bit. And I would agree. I think definitely in my early 20s, once I left school and I had to like, I went into like the real world, that's when I started developing like more extroverted qualities. And I started just like being myself because I was just like, fuck it. This is like, there's no point in me just not being me because no one really cares. That's something that you learn as you do more adult things, is like no one gives a fuck because everyone's worried about their own shit, that they're like, why would I give a fuck if he's like wearing shorts that go down to his ankles? Like no one cares. So that's the first. That was like 3 lessons I mashed into one. My second one is, okay, this kind of refers back to the first one a little bit, but there's such thing as knowing too much. Competence is confidence, but in a way, knowing too much could disenchant your experience in life. So I guess to put that into one line, it's like knowing too much can disenchant your experience in life. That's what I'll make the second lesson. And by that, I mean like once you understand something, it becomes like less fun. For example, once you grow up and you realize how things are, things don't seem as like magical anymore. Once you realize like everything, this is what I've learned from having like my own small business and whatnot. It's like once you see like the business aspect of everything just becomes like fucked up. What starts as like, oh, this person is like helping another person by like giving them medicine and like having medicine ready for them, and then you realize, oh, they're getting them hooked on this medicine, so they keep coming back to them and they're not solving They're solving their symptoms, but not like their actual like ailment, or they're not like healing them permanently. They're just keeping them wounded but healing the symptoms so that they keep coming back to get the medicine. Big pharma bullshit. And so it's like people just, at the end of the day, like most people just want more money, and they want more money not because they need more money, but they want more money than the people in their like social group, I guess, because being second place to someone sucks. So they'll be like, "Oh, I'll get an like a ridiculous amount of money so I don't have to feel like I'm in second place to this person." And it's a weird thing. And once you start seeing that around, and like you go through life seeing that shit, it makes it like a lot less fun. And it's also like, let's say you watch like a TV show, and a TV show from like your childhood, and you really enjoyed that TV show as a kid, and then you watch it when you're older, and you realize like, oh, this was just like they were just putting out bullshit just to like keep us engaged so they could play commercials in between, and so that they can make money off of like commercials. Like a piece of that could be genuine, like, oh, this is their creative outlet and they wanted to give lessons to kids, but they also, want to make fuck tons of money. And once you're aware of that, you become hyper aware of that within yourself. Because I'm like, I have a small business and I want to make money from that small business so I can grow that business and do the things that I want with it. And I find myself trying not to fall victim to greed, because it's still very hard for me to, like, I have my clothing brand, Damage Apparel, and I still find it hard not to, like, when I'm close to someone, to just be like, oh no, you can just have it. Like, no, you got to sell it so you can grow the business. And like, for me, I'm just like, well, but they're my boy. Like, I want to hook them up with this. But you can't like think like that if you want to survive as like an entrepreneur, which is the funniest thing. And it's also like, if you discover some like childhood trauma of yours, and you went your whole life like not knowing that trauma, and then all of a sudden you know it, and then you look back at your life and you're like, damn, that's why that happened, or like, this is why this was like that, or that's why I'm like this. And you're like, well, shit, if I didn't know this, then like, me knowing this doesn't change anything. Like, me knowing certain things about my trauma, like, in a way, I was like healed from it before, and then knowing about it like unearthed some shit that wouldn't have been unearthed unless I like became aware of it, if that makes sense. I probably sound like a fucking crazy person, but yeah, just there's a part of me that is naturally very curious, and so I seek things out. And then when I find some shit out, I'm like, I didn't need to know that. And I've been much more aware and much more conscious of knowing which things I need to know and which things I don't need to know. Like, Christian is he's vocalized that about like relationships, about like, oh no, you're like people's past and stuff like that. Like, you don't always need to know all the details and things like that. And it's the same when you like look at yourself. Sometimes you're like, sometimes I don't need to know every little thing, because to a point, knowing every little thing doesn't really serve you, because you're not going back there. What's that fucking quote? There's a reason why the windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror. I think that's how the quote goes. That's a fucking banger quote. I think Aristotle said that. Shout out Aristotle if you're watching. Here's a good one. This is one that I've gotten from Modern Wisdom. Shout out those who listen to Modern Wisdom. That's my shit. So I put soy on that. Now I have someone to like nerd out about this shit, because no one my age, or even like even like a couple years older than me, can have this conversation with me, and it's only Soyo I could talk to about these things. So I miss that motherfucker. He's been gone for 2 fucking months. I can't wait until he gets back. And then Christian's also leaving. Well, he's gonna come back pretty like much sooner, but That motherfucker needs to come back. So, third lesson, getting things is fun. Having things isn't as fun. And I found that to be like so true. I talked to my cousin about this. Like imagine you're playing a video game, right? The best video games were ones that kept you engaged the whole time and gave you like a challenge and obstacles to work through that weren't always easy, but you kept like grinding and pushing to overcome those obstacles. And that's what made it fun. You know what isn't fun is when you go into a video game, you enter a fuck ton of cheat codes, and you get like a bunch of just like unnecessary stuff. You unlock everything in the game. You have unlimited money, unlimited cars, unlimited whatever. All the moves you have unlocked. You can defeat any enemy. And then like 10 minutes later, you're like, well, this is fucking boring. Like there's no challenge for me. Like everything is just easy. Everything is just handed to me. You know, there's nothing for me to do because I can do everything. And the fun part is getting things that are hard to get. And so this is like a kind of long-winded way to say like it's not the destination, it's the journey. And it's not just the journey, it's the company that you take with you on the journey, whatever the, corny cliche shit is. And so it is very true, as cliche as it is. It's really about experiencing the journey on the way to where you want to be. Like, imagine in Pokemon imagine if you started a Pokemon game. Shout out to all my Pokemon players there that are out there. Imagine you started a Pokemon game, right? And you went in with a Squirtle that was like level 100, and you just murked every single trainer and gym leader in the game. Even that stupid fucking Garchomp at the end of Diamond and Pearl. That motherfucking Cynthia with her Garchomp that just spams Earthquake and always goes first because that bitch is fast for no reason. Fuck Garchomp, man.
It is finally time for Alan to get his redemption. Let's go, Alan. You better not get fucking rocked. Are you fucking kidding me?
Fuck Garchomp. Knocks out your Dialga in one hit. A Dialga, a supposed like legendary Pokemon. It's like a dragon that controls time, and it one-shots it with an Earthquake. The fuck is that shit? And so, imagine you just run through the whole game in like 10 minutes. You'll be like, this is a shitty game. But what makes Pokemon fun is like leveling up with your Pokemon, like strategizing to overcome obstacles. Like if there's a certain Pokemon that's fucking up your whole team, you gotta be like, damn, I gotta catch this Pokemon so I can counter this Charizard that knows Thunderbolt for whatever fucking reason. I'm just like this much closer to winning. I just need to level up my Pokemon a little bit more. And then you level up your Pokemon, you finally win, and you get all that stupid money from those kids that you be beating the fuck out of in the game. And then, you form like a weird like bond with these Pokemon. You craft like a story. You're like, oh, I love my Empoleon because when I was fighting Garchomp, he thugged it out and had that 1 HP and then took out their Garchomp with like a Hydro Pump. And you're like, fuck yeah. I love this Pokemon more than the other ones. It's fucking useless Dialga piece of shit.
All right. Oh. Yes. Fuck him up. Let's fucking go. Yes. Holy shit, I'm gonna nut myself.
And so I think it really is like getting things that's fun. And I got to remind myself that when I be going through it with my businesses, when business is slow or like I'm frustrated and I'm like, I'm not where I want to fucking be. But I got to recognize that if I was, it would be fucking boring. Like I thought about if I had like 10K in my bank account, which is way more than I actually do. if I had 10K in the bank account and like I was set, I obviously I would find something to do with it, but I don't think I would be happier than where I am now. Oh, maybe I would be. Cuz I could, pay for like my friends and shit. See? It's about that company. Imagine being rich and just being by yourself. That shit is boring. Being rich and by yourself, like imagine just going fishing by yourself. You know what? That doesn't sound bad either. Fuck it. You know what I mean. But yeah, it's the getting things is fun. Having things isn't as fun. Like when I got my car, the first 3 months I first got my car, I'm like, this is fucking sick. I love this thing. I don't have to. I can actually honk my horn and have AC at the same time. My first car didn't. The horn couldn't work because I had to move the fuse out of the horn part of the fuse box and put it in the AC part so I can get AC. I can see out the windows without it being blurry because the tint isn't like old as shit. And then after like 6 months, you're like, okay, now I'm used to having a car. It's not as cool as it was before. All right, and then my last two, I'm gonna make them based off of like what I've learned from Christian and Soyo. So fourth lesson that I've learned from Christian is that there's a difference between, I guess, let me reword that. I'll just say this like how it is in my mind. So I feel like Christian is very courageous, and I feel like my definition of courageous has been influenced by him just by seeing how his life has unfolded for like the last 3-ish months. And it comes from the aspect of vulnerability. There's a difference between being like courageous from being like naive and just like not knowing any better, like walking like incompetently into some situation and you're only really courageous because you don't know any better. And you're like, well, we'll see what happens. And then there's a type of courage that's very deliberate. By that, I mean being courageous about like being vulnerable. I think Christian is the best at being vulnerable at very like scary points in his life. And by that, I mean like when you get hurt by someone and people have hurt you in the past, it takes a lot of courage to not like harden your heart or turn your heart cold. And that's something that Christian he's never fallen victim to that because he's always had that courage to be like, I've been hurt in the past, but I'm still going to have that faith that my choices will turn out well for me. And there's a difference between that and like not knowing any better. And I think just like the bottom line is like being vulnerable after getting hurt takes a lot of courage. And so that's like something that I've learned about Christian. And that's something that I've struggled with in the past. I've gotten hurt plenty of times and it made me into a very like cold person. But learning how to still be optimistic about life and still learn the lessons that you need to learn without being so pessimistic about life. I think that that's what I'm trying to take from that is like it's scary, but you're not going to get anywhere in life if you live in fear of something, if you live in the fear of like getting hurt. And so it takes courage to do that. And that's a choice that you have to make. That's like, it's really hard. It's really hard to do that. But if you make that choice, I feel like in the end, things will work out for you because if you choose to close your heart off from anyone, then that takes away the chance of like you getting better, or that takes away the chance of like you actually finding someone that's worth your love. And I think there's another good quote that I heard that if you're someone that is that loves very deeply and you feel like that doesn't get reciprocated very often, be your own proof that the love that you seek out exists. And to like elaborate on that, it's like you're probably looking for someone to love you in this certain way where it's very genuine and you're willing to work through things with them and it's very wholesome and you're not trying to make this a transactional thing and you just want to grow and learn and experience life with them. If that love like lives inside you, that's proof that it exists. And I guess that's what I mean by that. So it takes courage to be vulnerable after you've been hurt. And courage is a choice. I don't know why I went full like fucking Illuminati there with my fingers. It'd be fucked up if I forgot to start recording this. I think we're good. All right. And then the last one is about soyo actually. And it's that you don't need to be the loudest person in the room in order to have presence in it. Like soyo is very much like the strong silent type where he doesn't really speak to fill the room with air or like fill the air with words. He speaks when he feels like there's something worth saying. And I feel like he doesn't really notice this, but whenever he does speak or whenever he enters a room, he does have that kind of presence that he brings with him. I feel like he feels like he's like a fly on the wall where he's kind of just like chilled, like kind of in the background, but you can feel Soya's presence when he enters a room and you want to listen to him when he says things. And I think that speaks volumes to like let me reword that. It just says a lot about people who try and control the room by like being the loudest or saying the most things. Sometimes it's more, you get noticed more if you say less. Say less. But yeah, your presence can be felt even if you are quiet. I think it's what I'm getting to. Hopefully like these, because these all make sense in my head. I hope it's not one of those things where like I think these all make sense, but all of you people out there are just like, what the fuck is he talking about? Just skip to I do the timestamps on this, so just skip to where it says like better part of the video. I think I skipped the timestamps last week. It takes fucking forever to do the timestamps, okay? And I'm doing the clips. I'm going through it right now. This is just therapy. All right. All right, here's 5 things that I've learned through dating apps. Shit. So I don't use Tinder. The only dating app I really used was Hinge, because Hinge is like a relationship dating app. My impression of Tinder is that like it's just to fuck, and it's just like, oh, would I fuck this person? Yes, no. I don't really know. But when I went into dating, it was around like December-ish when I felt like I was ready to start dating again because I had just gotten out of like my long-term relationship and I needed time to heal. So I took like a year to just be by myself and be single and learn how to be comfortable being single again. And so once I got back onto dating apps, it is a very like weird thing once you think about it. 'Cause it's like, it's a weird game of like wanting to seem like not as invested as like the other person. It's really odd. It's really like weird part in humanity where like you would never meet this person like out in the wild, but you're going out of your way to meet them on the premise that like you might have a romantic connection. It's very odd. So yeah, let's get into these 5 things I've learned through Hinge or dating apps. The vibe over in text and in person are completely different. So, you match with someone and you start talking to them and things are going well over text. Maybe they're like a really good texter. They text back fast. They get your jokes. They're sending a lot of laughing emojis, the skull and bones emojis. That's how you know it's going well. And you ask them questions about themselves, like what's your attachment style, what's your love language, are you family oriented. So when I was on, or I kind of still am on dating apps, not really as much now, but I was going into it wanting to date, like go on dates with people. I'm not the hookup type of person. So I made it very clear, like I'm on there to date and see like what I want in a relationship. That's like the answer I would give when people are like, "Oh, what are you looking for?" I'm like, "I'm looking to go on dates and date because I don't really know who I am in a relationship anymore because it's been so long." And so I went into it thinking I want to date people. Plus, like you kind of forget how to date people after you've been in a long term relationship. Because I remember I was asking very like deep questions like right away. I'm like, oh fuck, I got to do the small talk first. I wanted to get right into the fucking trauma, and they're just like, so what did you do today? I'm like, what I do every day. So like, what is like the most like hurtful thing that anyone's ever said to you? Like that was me, coming out the gate strong, and that's really intimidating to some people. Some people were into it. Some people were like, fuck yeah, let's skip the small talk. But one thing I've learned about small talk is it's kind of like dipping your toes in the water and seeing if like this person's normal or not. And sometimes small talk is necessary just to make people feel comfortable. I used to be like a big hater of small talk, but now I'm like, okay, I think this is the necessary thing to make sure we're all like, on the same page. What the fuck was I saying? It was let's see. Yeah, the vibe over text and in person are completely different. So to get back on track, you could be texting this person, it's going great, and you're very compatible. They're like, oh, I want 3 kids. I want 2 boys, 1 girl. And you're like, oh my God, me too. And then, you can be so compatible in person. You'd be like, oh, physically, I like, guys that aren't 6 foot, tattoos, has a podcast. And I'm like, holy fuck, dude, you're describing me. And then it could be so good over text. You could be texting like for days, and they're like, "Oh, I'm excited to see you." And then you go on a date, and the vibe is completely different. They they go from like bubbly and like expressive to just fucking yeah. It's like you really don't know if you're compatible with someone unless you are with them in person and you feel out the energy. It could take like a little bit to like get them to unravel, and then you can be like, okay, now we're comfortable. Takes a couple dates, but sometimes they're just like completely different, and like it throws you off. Like I feel like I'm pretty much the same over text as I am in person. If I've texted you in person, you can let me know if I'm wrong, but I feel like I'm the same person, and then the other person, it's just like it's a toss up on whether or not they're the delusion that you've made in your head when texting them or not. So yeah, the vibe between like in person and in text is completely different. My next thing that I've learned from dating apps, voice memos are key. So I think that when you when you start like texting someone, I think that you should definitely like try to stand out in a way, either be funny over text or you can send like a voice memo. I think I like voice memos because it becomes like it humanizes them a little bit, because it's easy to like ghost people and to like disregard them when they're just like text on the screen. But once you hear their voice, it's like a different thing. You're like, oh, this is a person. Like this is a existing person in the same world that I live in right now. And so once you send like voice memos, then they send voice memos back, or they don't, and you get in your head about whether or not they got a fucked up voice or not, or like why they're not sending voice memos back. It's either one, they're on Hinge because they're like at work and they're bored and they're like in public and they don't want to send voice memos, or they got like they're insecure about their voice. Maybe they have a lisp and they got like braces and fit, and or maybe they're just like something about their voice that they're not like not very secure quite yet in. And if you're a guy that's getting on dating apps, use send the voice memos in the morning when your voice is like a little bit hotter and you don't sound as like annoying, and you're just like yeah, I just woke up. Yeah, you do that shit in the morning. So voice memos are key if you want to like take it like the next step. And then fucking here's another tip. Now I'm just giving out tips. Phone call or FaceTime before you take them out on a date, because if you can't vibe over FaceTime or over a phone call, you're not going to vibe in person. I'll just say that. It has saved me a lot of dates, or like a lot of yeah, it's saved me from going on dates I wouldn't have wanted to be on, just calling them first, or yeah, FaceTiming them. Also, it sucks when like they give you their number and you go to text them and the bubble is like green because they have an Android. It's like the suspense when I hit that shit, and it's like, okay, text this person, and it's blue. I'm like, oh, thank God, thank Allah for this shit. Is cursing haram? My fault. All right, and then next one. Your date to match ratio is about 10%. Let's say you get like 10 matches. The odds that they even text back or want to go on like a date on you is like 1 in 10. Like one of them, most of them, 90% of them, I'll say, are just like on there just to get like validation. And then also they're just like not on there to actually date. It's just like kind of like a fun game that they play. And some of them are just like bad texters. So they just don't, you send some and they just don't reply, and that's just the end of it. But, 1 out of 10 times, actually, I'll say like 2 to 3 out of 10 times you'll get a reply. And then 1 out of 10, you actually like connect with someone and get like a date out of it. If, you're not like a shitty texter or whatever. And so like I've gone on like a handful of dates, and I've been on Hinge for like a month. Yeah, like a month. And I've gone on a handful of dates. I've had like good experiences, but not any experiences that were like, oh wow, that was really, really crazy. They were all like pretty good. Like I enjoyed myself, but obviously if I had like a really stellar experience and I really hit it off with someone and things went well, you know what? One of them I really liked. But yeah, the date to match ratio is like I'll say 10%. 10% of your matches might turn into like a date. And then, that out of the dates, I haven't gone on like second dates very often. Actually, I don't think I've gone on a second date. Usually because I cut it off there. Do I have commitment issues? Topic for another episode. Tip number 4, or fourth thing that I've learned: commit to a hug or a handshake when you go on a date. Don't make it weird and do like a weird like a CP3O type shit where you're like you don't really know what to do, so you kind of do this awkward handshake hug thing. Commit to the hug or commit to like a handshake. Like before the date starts, just have it in your head like, I'm going to commit to a hug or I'm going to commit to a handshake. I usually go hug, but commit to one of them, because it's really awkward and it sets a weird tone on the date when you don't. So you can either discuss that over text, like, oh, what's your what are you comfortable with when you're greeting with people, or just say fuck it and just pick one. But don't fuck up the first interaction that way. But yeah, commit to a handshake or a hug. Okay, this is the last one. If she doesn't smile in her pictures, she got fucked up teeth or she got braces, which is arguably the same thing. Um, yeah, I realized every single girl that I've like gone on a date with that didn't smile in her pictures had braces, or she had fucked up teeth and just didn't talk about it, didn't say anything, didn't obviously, that's why I say FaceTime them, because a person's smile could be a deal breaker for you if you're really like a face person, and I really am a face person. I did learn a lot about like my type. I realized like I don't really have a physical type at all. Like I've been attracted to so many like different people. I'm starting to think I'm a demisexual, which is like you can only have like a sexual connection with someone if you're like emotionally invested, because out of all the dates I've gone on, like I've never felt comfortable like sexually right away, cuz I'm like I don't fucking know you, you're a stranger. Like fucking a stranger is wild to me. Like that's like does that not like terrify people? Cuz it's like this is a stranger. But enough about that. Um yeah, I'm not someone who likes to be sexual like up front or like right away. Just cuz I feel like it comes off like kind of desperate too if you're like that. And it's like for me dating, I don't need a partner. It's just like I would like for someone to do things with and to like experience life with, grow with, all that bullshit. Um but it's not like I need that, you know? Like I know how to take care of myself um outside of that. I guess that's another thing that I kind of learned is like there's more to life than just like your relationship or your love life. I feel like it is really important because it could be a really fulfilling thing, but it's not like everything. Like there's still so much like other shit that you do in life besides be with like your romantic partner. Like there's so much other like forms of love you can experience besides romantic. Like there's platonic love. There's love for fucking food, hobbies, familial love. I don't even know if familial is a word, but I just used it and it kind of like fit. There's self love, learning how to love yourself. It took me a really long time. Like when I was like a teenager, I fucking hated the person I was, and like viscerally, like I would write down like all the shit that I hate about myself and just sit there and just hate myself, like look in the mirror and just be like fuck you. It was really unhealthy, and that it took like a long time because I didn't really, I wasn't close with like anyone that could like guide me through that and tell me like what I needed to hear. And so I had to like stumble through like a lot of things to figure out like if you want to love yourself, you have to become someone that you would love, And it took me years to get to like that part or to that point where you do love yourself like unconditionally. Obviously there's times where like I argue with myself and I'm like, okay, why didn't you do this? But it's never like malicious like it was before. It's more of like a group huddle, like let's figure out what the fuck happened and let's try to move on in like a way that makes sense. It's never like a what the fuck is wrong with you type deal, like how it used to be. Now it's like when I see myself, it's like a group effort. Like, okay, we fucked that shit up, but we're still good. We'll make it. Um, you can't help but laugh at things, and so the key to self love is becoming someone that you would love, and talking to yourself in a way like you would someone that you do love. Like you would never tell like your mom like, "Hey, shut the fuck up. What's wrong with you?" No, you'd be like, things happen. You'd be patient. You'd take the necessary steps to like heal and be like, "Okay, let's get back on that fucking horse and let's do this." I don't know why I used that analogy. I've never been on a horse. All right. So, that was 5 things I learned through dating apps. The vibe over text and in person are completely different. Voice memos are key. The date to match ratio is about 10% or 1 out of 10. And then commit to a hug or a handshake. And then if she doesn't smile in her pictures, her teeth are fucked up or she got braces, which is, fine. But just let that be known. Because if a girl got like a good smile, she's smiling the fuck out of those pictures. I don't think I used that verb right. But, all right, let's get into this fucking reaction time. I'm kind of vibing by myself right now. This is kind of weird. All right, this is a new segment that I'm going to try out. Don't know if it's going to fucking work. I'm just going to be reacting live to a video. I'm thinking of doing like a David Alvarez video, or I'm going to just go on the cut and just find some good shit. But hopefully this fucking works. Let's see. Switching over to the reaction cam. Actually, let me pick some video first. Let's do Truth or Drink with Bobby Lee and Kalila. Oh, I love Bobby Lee. Every day for a summer. Bobby Lee. I think if you guys don't know who Bobby Lee is and Kalila, they do I think the Tiger Belly podcast. Fuck yeah, let's go. Okay, it's buffering. I'm kind of worried. All right, let's see. Hopefully this works.
Are you crying?
A little bit. You guys are horrible.
What kind of show is this?
This is kind of sick. I feel like Cody
I'm
Co right
Kalila.
now.
I co-host a podcast with Bobby Lee called Tiger Belly. He is my best friend,
Yeah,
and
okay,
he
I was
also
right.
used to eat my pussy.
Okay, that's pretty aggressive right away. That's pretty aggressive.
Muchos gracias.
What the fuck does that mean? Isn't she like? I thought she was Filipina. What? She's not fucking Spanish. It's the same shit.
All right, we're gonna start the game. So we're here to play Truth or Drink. If you don't want to answer,
Wait, they broke up? I just realized that. Wait, that means that they broke up. Why the fuck did they break up? How could they break up? How? You know?
for the question, we're gonna do ginger shots because you're sober and not drinking. So go ahead and start with the first question.
Oh yeah, congrats to Bobby and Kalila for being sober.
We break up.
Already? That's the first question?
It's today.
We start hot, you know.
All right.
Oh, he just farted.
What the wait, I thought I was tripping. He just bust ass? Why'd he bust ass and like look confused about it?
Already? That's the first question?
It's today.
We start hot, you know.
All right.
Look,
He just farted.
look at that. He busted ass and he pretended like he's like, what the
Many reasons, but
That's a high school
ultimately
move right there.
because we nailed the friendship, but we lost the romance.
What do you think?
Damn. Let this be a lesson. Fucking sometimes your connection with someone is better as friends. It's better your connection with someone is better as friends than it is like romantically. Cuz I feel like I've experienced that at one point where it's like, "Oh, I think we were better as just being friends and just having friendly banter."
You feel the same?
You know, can I just say something? I love Arby's.
Okay.
You know, the roast beef sandwich? I'm not gonna say that your
Oh, he
vagina
better
looks like
not.
Arby's. Is that where you think your mind's going? Oh, no, that's not where I'm going. After 10 years of eating Arby's, you know what I mean? And what was I like? Korean barbecue?
Yeah, like the
And then you're like, one
yeah.
day, you're like, I want Italian.
I could have stayed with Korean barbecue.
Really?
Yeah, but
She's
you
a
wanted-
fucking G for that. I feel like let's say you go to Arby's and it's like the best food you can get. And you know it's like the best food you can get. Like I guess I can see his perspective of like, but I don't know. I feel like if you really like Arby's and you're just like, yeah, I know this is the best. Like why would I downgrade and go fucking get like a spicy McChicken? You know? I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
outside of Arby's.
Yeah, I wanted to switch it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Is that a terrible way to say it? But it's the truth.
I think you should have been
I think,
honest
in many
about it.
ways. You know, I think we cut around all these things about like, you know, we weren't intimate or communication, and you know what I mean? We should have done this and that. It's at the end of the day, let's get down to the point. You know what I mean? I just wanted to see a different thing.
Okay.
You know?
At least he's upfront about it.
But I love Arby's still. It's still my favorite sandwich.
Thank you. Next one, is it my turn?
Okay.
What sex advice do you have for me, and how could I improve? Hit me. I can handle it.
Can I say, you're too professional. You're too professional.
Wait, isn't that a good
way?
thing?
It's just like shit you see in the movies, you know what I mean? Like even just, you know what I mean? Just even the turnaround, locking eyes, you know what I mean? And the little, you know what I mean? When she's looking up at me,
Okay.
like it's too pro. I want a little, like, you know, a deer, you know what I mean, on the eyes. I want somebody that's
Okay,
struggling.
I think I know what he's trying to say. He's saying it like all fucked up, but I think what he's looking for is like he wants like a little bit more innocence. But he's saying it all weird. And he just said he wanted to fuck a deer, but I think that's what he means is like he wants more innocence than like the porn star shit. Which I feel like I get that.
A bit, you know what I mean? Because I'm not professional. Like I want to be able to be scared and fumble around. I think you're too pro.
Well, you know, upsides of being a hoe in my day.
Yeah.
I get shit done. I'm sorry.
damn.
It's too good. Do your best impression of my O face.
Your O face is very standard. I can maybe do the sound better than I can the face.
Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Yours
What the
is
fuck was that?
yeah.
Oh, that's rude.
Oh, I know the answer to this. How quickly did you hook up with someone after we broke up?
A year?
Bro, who's, you know, not to be like offensive, but is Bobby Lee really pulling?
A year? You hit the ground running.
No, a year.
No, but didn't you go to that strip club in like at noon? Did you go to a strip club at noon?
Yeah, but that was a hand job. That's not cheating.
Bro, what? Wait, yeah, wait, they're not even talking about cheating.
Ask me about cheating.
Oh, what was the question? What was the question?
You can tell they still they have like the chemistry and like they still have like the connection is there.
And yourself.
Wait.
Like the fact that she can just like talk about this and not be like emotionally like overwhelmed by it is kind of crazy.
Hey, my name is Caitlin. I'm a producer at
Fuck you,
Cut. If
Kayla.
Save my life. I hope not. I don't
was
think so
rude.
because I feel like you're family to me at this point.
Be a time that
was
we
so
no longer
rude.
Speak.
That would be the saddest day of my life. I hope not. I don't think so because I feel like you're family to me at this point. And not even more than family. I think like, have you ever seen those anglerfish? Anglerfish are like these deep water fish, but eventually the male, after having sex, fuses himself to the female and becomes like a lifelong appendage. And I feel as though you are my lifelong appendage. I can never let go of you.
That's a really funny like
Refuse.
analogy.
I think. What about you?
No, I mean, it's like getting rid of half of myself or something. Yeah, but you know, what I realize is that I'm not gonna marry anybody.
Why not?
It sounds dreadful to me. I looked at my parents, like, oh, miserable. They're just stuck.
You know what this kind of gives me the impression that these are just like two people with like a lot of trauma and like a really like fucked up like childhoods. It's two very troubled people that found a connection together, but that trauma that they have is kind of, it's their point of like relation. Like that's how they can connect so well because they can relate to each other. But at the same time, it's like what's preventing them from like being together all the way, you know, because they're still fucked up and they still have to work through their shit. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too much into it, but that's what it reads to. What it reads like to me is like they're just both two very troubled people trying to love each other.
Fucking this thing, this contract, and they do the same things every day. No, it's not that. It's not
Because he sounds like he just doesn't want what his parents have.
her. It's just that I don't want to be in a thing.
He got
I
commitment
never wanted to be in a
issues.
thing.
Okay.
How sexy do you think my naked body is rated on a scale from 1 to 10?
None of these drinks will get drank. I think on a scale of 1 to 10, your body is, as John Mayer would say, an absolute wonderland. So I give it a 10.
What?
I
It's
genuinely.
pure
The
insanity.
first time I saw
Let's
you naked.
be honest, though.
I am being honest.
Be honest.
Be honest. The belly is my favorite part. I love your short T-Rex arms. I love that you have weird, like,
Wait.
sporadic hair distribution.
Okay, it sounds like she's roasting him, but I don't think that she is. Like, I don't think that she means to. If you look at like the conviction in her eyes,
Everything about you is perfect.
Aw.
I've always been obsessed with your body.
What the fuck, dude? No one's ever talked about my body that way. Your body is perfect. I'm obsessed with your body. Bruh. My body looks basically like Bobby Lee's. No one's ever said that to me before. What the fuck?
That's just the truth.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tell her how you feel about hers.
You're too hot.
Titties
Too
are-
hot.
No, from here to here, right? It's the hottest that I've ever seen.
The hottest half torso you've ever seen?
Yeah, from here down to your knee.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's discount up above, but
That's so fucked.
I take my answer back. Can I take my answer back?
Said,
what did I do to
from
gross
the neck
out the
up, you're
relationship?
discounted?
Okay, let's start with a fungus balls.
Ah,
No,
what the?
don't say that.
Okay, I've heard a couple of his like fucking gross things on his podcast. I don't.
Please, can I tell
I'm
that-
like, I don't like hearing this shit.
on.
No, please.
Please.
No fungus balls.
Foot shavings.
No foot shavings. No foot,
Foot
shavings.
shavings?
Please.
Booger menagerie.
That's fine.
So he just had an art installation of boogers.
So fucking
in our-
gross.
But I
I'm
really,
sorry. I mean, have you ever looked underneath a student's desk at a school? There's a menagerie of boogers. But it's beautiful.
That's so fucking gross. How are
Boogers can
you?
be beautiful. Clear, yellow, sometimes a little red streak.
Dude, I can't do
think
that.
you
I
guys
can't
are,
do
like,
this.
Being very judgy.
That's so
Was
fucking
the art
gross.
installation in your apartment?
yes,
Oh,
bedroom.
bedroom.
I don't like that.
I'm not gonna do this one.
Oh, yeah, that's
You want to just take a shot?
Does his mic pick that up?
Yeah.
Is he just? Why is he busting ass and like acting like he didn't just bust ass? This is a funny frame. He's like busting ass like it's someone like coughing. He's just like, oh, yep. Damn.
Oh yeah, that ginger is terrible. It's like it's too gingery. How do I rank in the bedroom compared to all of your other lovers?
Can I tell you one thing that I think you should be really proud of? You're the only person that has made me come from anal. The only person.
Why does he look so disappointed?
Okay, congratulations. I don't know what you want me to say.
To you, that was a
I
compliment to
didn't
you.
want to be there.
Why? Back there?
I don't like being back
No, because
there.
you had said you'd never done it before, and I was like, you have to try it
And I'll
at
never
least
do it
once.
again.
He hated it.
Yeah, it's forbidden.
All right, let's have you ask the next question.
That's a
Are we
very
not doing well? I mean,
intimate
No,
thing to
you're
just
doing amazing.
say.
what's wrong with me? Yeah, go ahead. Be honest.
When I first met you, I thought he is so fucking broken like me that I just knew we would be friends forever. So all the things that I'm gonna say are wrong with you are wrong with me as well, which is we both come from a very traumatized household. So we can be very chaotic people.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe that I got, that they were just both like very traumatized people, and they're just like it's like the epitome of like a trauma bond. It's like what they got.
You're the Tasmanian devil.
Yeah,
Oh,
go ahead.
did you ever see yourself marrying me?
Yes.
This is getting emotional real quick.
I must have marrying you, but also, it could have been dreadful. I mean, there was always like, in my gut, I was like, I'm gonna marry Kalila.
Oh shit, she's
knew it
crying.
in-
Oh
Are you
shit, she's
crying?
crying. I'm gonna cry.
You guys are horrible.
What kind of show is this? What I love about you, right, is that you know you're hot, you're smart, you're very empathetic to the world, but you're also cool. You know shit. I'm just saying you have all of it.
Thank you.
Yeah. I just didn't want to fuck you anymore.
So fucking true though.
Yeah.
It's so true.
so
Thank
true.
you for saying that. I wish that you had said that when you felt it.
Yeah.
Because then
Bruh.
it would have saved.
Is it me, or is she taking that like really well? Why didn't you tell me that you just want to fuck other people? Like, I feel like that she's taking it way too well. Kudos to her though.
Saved us the last
That
couple
she
of
can
years of
take
trying
the
to figure
honesty
out
like
why
that.
we weren't fucking. If you'd just be like, I want new pussy, Kalila, I would have been like, I get that.
It's all about
that.
communication.
Do you think there would ever be a chance of us getting back together?
Yeah.
That was too fast.
I think so. Because for me, I'm doing a little test.
You know what he said to me?
Yeah.
He said after he gets through 100 girls, then we can get back together.
Because I feel like 100, I'd be like, I did it all, dude. Like, you know what I mean? In the air,
Got it out of the system.
underground.
So after all that, you're coming back to Arby's.
Yeah.
What number do you think you're at?
I don't air it, but I'm gonna say it like this. I'm only at 8.
8?
How was this experience? How was playing Truth or Drink?
That was super cathartic for me because some of those questions I don't think we've ever really had a chance to face ask each other. So I think that was positive.
Obviously,
I
it
love
looks like
you.
shit, bro.
Do you have anything you want to plug or promote?
Go watch Tiger Belly.
Yeah, just Tiger Belly.
Damn. That was kind of fun. I want to do that with like other people. But yeah, that was the reaction segment of the podcast. Thanks for listening to a whole fucking hour of just me rambling. Damn, it was really an hour. Well, remember to like and all the bullshit that we say at the end. Do all that. Soyo and Christian should be back next week. I'm excited to see Soyo, and Christian, of course. But I'm excited to hear Soyo's stories that he brings back. And then maybe Christian will bring back some stories from Florida. I don't know what he's up to over there, but hopefully we'll have the whole cast back, maybe some guests. Let me know down in the comments. I want you guys to comment more. It's just Peter down there. Let me know like what topics you guys want to hear about, like dating, about whatever, just anything, any kind of feedback. We would love to see your feedback. But yeah, we'll have everyone back next week. Hopefully it's not just me. It was kind of fun though. It was kind of fun. I kind of got into it after a little bit, but yeah, we'll see you next week. It's just me. I'll see you guys next week. Hope you guys have a good week before the next episode. All right. Peace. Bye.